Today's news highlights. Date April 28, 2025. News highlights. Meta, the US tech giant, has been accused of working closely with the CCP to censor RTHK speech and collect user data. Former Meta Global Policy Director Wynne Williams revealed that in order to please the CCP, Meta secretly built an $18 billion business system, developed censorship tools, and even gave the CCP access to user data. Legislators are concerned about the risk of personal information outflow from Taiwan's 17 million Facebook users, calling on the government to legislate to require platforms to be implemented and managed, and reminding the public to refuse to use Chinese apps to prevent personal information from being used for precision strikes and cognitive warfare. As the confrontation between the United States and China heats up, the United States has also stepped up supervision and punishment of tech giants. News highlights. Although Lockheed Martin failed to win the contract for the 6th generation F-47, CEO Dick Light announced that it would promote the Super F-35 program, aiming to achieve 80% of the F-47's performance at half the cost, and called it a 5th generation plus fighter. Lockheed plans to apply the advanced sensors and stealth technology developed in the bid to the existing F-35 platform in an effort to continue to compete in the global market and make up for the loss. The Super F-35 is expected to cost more than the existing model, and its success or failure will critically affect the company's future fighter layout. News highlights. IBM has deeply introduced AI into the Human Resources Department, and used the self-service platform Ask HR to respond to employee problems in real time, improving service efficiency and reducing operating costs by 40%. Internally, Watson X is used to assist in core tasks such as job writing, interview evaluation, training path recommendation, salary adjustment, and resignation warning. AI provides data analysis and recommendations, but the final decision-making power is still in the hands of supervisors, emphasizing the use of technology to unleash manpower, allowing employees and managers to focus on higher-value work and self-growth. News highlights. Nearly 40% of the elderly in South Korea and nearly 20% in Japan live below the poverty line, both of which are higher than the OECD average. Labor market shifts, rigid retirement systems and gender inequality are the main causes, with women in particular being poor. South Korea is expected to surpass Japan in terms of the proportion of its elderly population by 2040, and the problem of low fertility is exacerbated. The two governments have extended the retirement age and adjusted the pension system, and Taiwan can learn from this to respond to the challenges of an aging society in advance. News highlights. Benefiting from the rise led by electronic stocks, the fermentation of the 520 market, the expectation of Fed interest rate cuts and the purification of chips, legal persons are optimistic that Taiwan stocks will challenge to stand at 20,000 points this week. The bright financial reports of U.S. technology stocks have driven the strength of electronic-weighted stocks such as TSMC, coupled with the protection of the National Security Fund, the sharp reduction of financing balances, and the return of funds, which will help the bulls continue. However, it is important to note that Trump's tariffs may be volatile. News highlights. Morgan Stanley, DMO, latest top 100 humanoid robot report, Taiwan only Heda, TSMC, Honhai, Bank of Shanghai 4 on the list, of which Heda was officially invited by Tesla to join the humanoid robot supply chain has attracted much attention. Apple has also recently contacted Heda and other Taiwanese factories, showing a high degree of interest in the Taiwan chain. With Tesla expected to mass-produce thousands of Optimus humanoid robots this year and expand production capacity tenfold by 2026, and U.S. companies are interested in reducing their dependence on Chinese supply chains, Taiwanese factories are expected to be the first wave of beneficiaries. News highlights. This week, the earnings report of U.S. technology stocks has entered the peak period, and the four members of the Tech Seven including Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, and Apple will release their quarterly reports, and the market will focus on four key areas: financial forecasts, consumer and corporate spending risks, capital expenditure plan adjustments, and cloud business performance. Microsoft and Meta's cloud businesses may face a slowdown in growth, and Meta will also have to deal with the challenge of a decline in its retail advertising business. Apple expects a strong performance in the services business, but weak hardware sales, and Amazon may have revenue growth due to tariffs. Investors will be watching the tech giants' capex plans, particularly Microsoft and Amazon's AI investments. News highlights. U.S. President Donald Trump's second 100-day term in office expires this week, but his capricious tariffs and criticism of allies have caused U.S. stocks and the dollar to fall sharply. The dollar index has fallen by about 9% since taking office in January, and if it does not recover, it will be the largest 100-day decline in government since 1973. U.S. equities have also underperformed, with the MSCI U.S. index down 11% year-to-date, significantly underperforming other countries' stock markets. Trump's trade war and isolationist measures have prompted investors to turn their money to assets outside the United States, weakening the dollar and pushing up currencies such as the euro and the yen. Analysts warn that the dollar could face structural downside risks. News highlights. During the attack on Qiangtai Kangrui, an old tree at Nanxi Elementary School in Lingkou District, New Taipei City, collapsed and smashed two vehicles. The car owner was unable to receive compensation for the millions of car repair costs, and both the school and the insurance company refused to compensate on the grounds of natural disasters. After investigation, it was found that the tree had suffered from rot disease and had not been pruned for nearly 3 years. Despite the school's emphasis on the appearance of the trees and the rush to dispose of the trees after the typhoon, the owners decided to file a national compensation lawsuit seeking compensation. News highlights today, 28th. The front moved in rapidly, with localized showers in the north and eastern half of the central part and a chance of brief showers in the south, and the temperature dropped slightly. The weather is expected to improve tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, with sunny and hot days. Meteorological expert Lin pointed out that the tropical disturbance 99W off the eastern coast of the Philippines has the potential to develop into a tropical depression, TD, and even become the first typhoon this year. Although the 99W path prediction is different, the initial assessment has little impact on Taiwan and needs to be continuously observed. Associate Professor Wu Derong also stressed that the development of tropical disturbance in the next 10 days is still uncertain and needs attention. News highlights: the Kuomintang held a war dictatorship rally on Kita Grand Avenue on Saturday, and Huang Xixian questioned Zhu Liluan's cooperation with Huang Qiuakang and criticized Huang Qiuakang for his lack of responsibility and character. Huang Qiuakang responded that Huang Xixian was not important and alluded to his lack of strength. Huang Xixian counterattacked, pointing out that Huang Qiuakang has been in the political arena for many years and lacks wisdom and character, and criticized him for supporting the DPP and betraying his comrades for the sake of interests. She also cited a series of controversies over Huang Qiuakang, emphasizing that although he has no power, he has a firm character, and condemned Huang Qiuakang for acting with double standards, praising K-Wins and elevating himself. News highlights: a tragedy occurred in Bangqiao District, New Taipei City on the 27th, when a 35-year-old man surnamed Xie shot Chen Nu at gunpoint and committed suicide after a quarrel with his ex-wife, a painter surnamed Chen. Before the incident, Chen Nu had asked a friend for help and mentioned that Xie Nan threatened with a gun, but failed to prevent the tragedy from happening. Chen Nu was shot and died, and Xie was declared brain dead after being sent to the hospital. It is understood that the two will get married in 2024, and later divorced due to Xie Nan's violent tendencies, but they still live together. After the case, the Escape Studio announced that Chen Nu had passed away due to an accident, and the students were shocked and saddened by this. Police are investigating the details of the case and tracing the source of the murder gun. News highlights: CAIAGA's 90-year-old grandmother passed away recently, and her cousin was suspected of secretly sorrying that he did not return to Chi for the funeral as soon as possible, which caused criticism from netizens. In this regard, CAIAGA's cousin posted a document to clarify the misunderstanding, saying that what the elders in the family had done made his brother feel uncomfortable, but now everyone has solved the misunderstanding and said that they will try their best to heal the old wounds. He stressed that the housework has been resolved, and the most important thing at the moment is to deal with the aftermath of his grandmother, and thanked the outside world for criticism and advice. CAIAGA also responded in the message, thanking his family for clarifying the misunderstanding after communication, and said that housework was no problem. News highlights: Asian King Ren Xiankai debuted for 34 years, and with the development of film and television songs, his worth exceeded 500 million yuan, about NT $2.23 billion. In addition to his acting career, he is also quite successful in real estate investment and owns several properties. Recently, he was revealed to have bought a newly built street building in Qingdao for nearly NT $100 million, believing that the place has great potential for future development. Ren Xiankai's real estate territory covers Hong Kong, Shanghai, Changsha, and other places. In his early years, he became an instant hit because of the album Too Soft Heart created by his mentor Xiao Worm, and recently he collaborated with Xiao Worm again to release a new single Always Come, emotionally saying there is no Xiao Worm, there is no me. News highlights: Joy, a member of the South Korean girl group Red Velvet, recently appeared on the reality show I Live Alone, revealing for the first time her home environment where she lived in a boudoir for 6 months. As an otaku girl, she revealed that she was obsessed with home maintenance, acquired a complete set of professional beauty equipment, and thoroughly managed it from the inside out. Probiotics and other health foods appeared in Joy's refrigerator, which are the endorsement of her new Taiwanese healthcare brand, and she will personally come to Taiwan to promote them in the future. Joy also shared her maintenance process on the show, and revealed that she has been praised for getting younger and younger recently. She plans to launch CO-branded gift boxes and other merchandise to surprise Taiwanese fans. News highlights: on the 28th, the New Taipei District Prosecutor's Office investigated the case of the Kuomintang New Taipei City Party Department suspected of false signatures, and directed the search of the party department, brought back some of the information, and took away the Secretary Chen Zhenrong, the Secretary Zhu Bi, and the Executive Director of the Sankong District Party Department, Luo Deu. The case involved recall proposals by a number of DPP legislators, and the recall group was accused of false signing. Previously, the prosecutor had searched 30 locations including the KMT Spangqiao District and Sankong District, and interviewed more than 10 relevant people. News highlights U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff policy has had a major impact on Taiwan's small and medium-sized enterprises, especially the machine tool and machinery industries, with many companies experiencing order freezes and operational difficulties due to the 32% reciprocal tariff. Although the tariffs were temporarily waived and entered the negotiation stage, it is still difficult for small and medium-sized enterprises to cope in the short term. In particular, more than 50% of the processing plants in the central region are facing no orders, and the risk of supply chain disruption has increased. Some companies, such as Reach Precision Machinery, have successfully broken through customized products, proving that finding exclusive positioning in the midst of changes can avoid shocks. Business owners need to enhance their competitiveness and proactively adapt to market challenges. News highlights poor eating habits may shorten life expectancy, and physician Huang Xian pointed out that eating too fast can increase the risk of fatty liver disease by 81%, and it is recommended to eat for at least 15 to 20 minutes and chew slowly. Overeating may cause acute pancreatitis and atherosclerosis, so it is recommended to eat 7 minutes full at each meal. In addition, Huang Xian reminded that skipping breakfast will cause the brain to activate the famine alarm, causing more calories to be absorbed at lunch, increasing the risk of diabetes and heart disease, and breakfast should be eaten between 7 and 8 o'clock. Late dinner may also increase the risk of stroke, so it is recommended to schedule dinner between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. to help you get better health and sleep. News highlights meteorological expert Wu Derong pointed out that on the 28th, the front moved in rapidly, and there were local short-term showers or thunderstorms in the north and eastern half of the central region, and there was also a chance of short-term showers in the south. During the day, the high temperature is about 23 to 24 degrees in the north, 26 to 28 degrees in the central and Yuhua, and 29 to 32 degrees in the south. The weather will stabilize from tomorrow, 29th, the temperature will rise, and there will be occasional rain in the mountains in the afternoon. On Thursday, May 1st, the front will sweep over the northern sea, with localized showers or thunderstorms in the afternoon. From Saturday to next Wednesday, the weather is expected to be warm, with a chance of rain in the afternoon and the possibility of tropical disturbances. News highlights Taiwan's first private gas station, the Western European gas station, has attracted a large number of riders because of its pioneering free car wash and in-refueling service. However, it has recently been revealed that the brand has been completely closed, and all stores have been replaced with CNPC or Taia petroleum signboards, even including the stores at the foot of Yangmingshan. Netizens reported that the Western European gas stations in Taipei were all operated by others in just a few months, and their official websites have been closed, which has aroused the nostalgia and confusion of many riders. The change sparked discussion, with many reminiscing about their youth when they used to meet at gas stations in Western Europe. News highlights 2 female patients were diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer and the other was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer with liver metastasis. Liu Boren, an expert in nutritional medicine, pointed out that colorectal cancer often has no obvious symptoms in the early stage, but as the disease progresses, symptoms such as blood in the stool, changes in bowel habits, and abdominal discomfort may occur. For early detection, people over the age of 50 or with a family history of the disease should have an annual fecal occult blood test and a colonoscopy every 5 to 10 years. In addition, limiting the intake of red meat and processed meat is essential to prevent colorectal cancer. News highlights the Ministry of Communications has allocated 980 million yuan in subsidies to set up public charging piles, and it is expected to complete 4,865 guns by the end of this year, but some people have reported that some charging parking spaces cannot be supplied with power, and they questioned that the industry is just to renew the parking lot registration certificate for superficial work. The Transportation Department said that the operator must complete the power transmission to receive the subsidy, and will coordinate with Taipower to speed up the power transmission operation. According to the new management measures, parking lots need to set up a certain proportion of charging parking spaces in order to renew the registration certificate. The Highway Bureau will inspect the operators who have not completed the power transmission, and require them to improve within a time limit, and if the operation is delayed due to Taipower, it can coordinate and speed up the progress. News highlights in response to the Russia-Ukraine war, the United States, Europe, and Taiwan actively expanded the production line of 155mm artillery shells. The Ministry of National Defense plans to invest 14 billion yuan to build an automated production line at the 202 plant of the Armaments Administration and optimize the existing facilities to meet the needs of Taiwan's cooperation. The Foreign Affairs and National Defense Committee of the Legislative Yuan also visited the site to emphasize the importance of strengthening the production capacity of ammunition and supporting the independent development of the defense industry. News highlights the Kuomintang launched the recall of the Green Committee suspected of being involved in the ghost signature, and the investigation searched the new Taipei City Party Department and the residences of 3 party officials, and the Secretary General Chen Zhenrong, the party secretary Zhu Bi and others were brought back for interrogation. The Municipal Party Department stressed respect for the judiciary and demanded fair investigation. The Kuomintang caucus criticized the move as a political retaliatory and warning sign. News highlights: CAIAGA has been in turmoil recently, not only the disappearance of former employee Laura, but also related to the fraud case, and the death of the elder in the family has caused the cousin to be sarcastic. Chiang broke the news on the podcast that some CAIAGA employees wanted to jump to her company, but they resolutely refused to hire because they were dissatisfied with the employees' part-time behavior. News highlights: due to unfamiliar road conditions, a migrant worker mistakenly rode a miniature electric two-wheeler in the reverse direction of the number 1 Zhonghua section and rode about 9 kilometers through the lane. After receiving the notification, the National Highway Police stopped the people and vehicles, sent the people and vehicles away, and imposed a fine of 3,000 to 6,000 yuan according to the regulations. News highlights: many ophthalmologists still wear glasses, mainly because the cornea is too thin, high myopia or dry eye syndrome, etc., which are not suitable for myopia laser, and glasses can reduce eye fatigue. Some doctors also choose to retain micromyopia because laser cannot prevent presbyopia, which is more convenient to deal with presbyopia in the future. The advantage of myopia laser is that it is free from the shackles of glasses and has stable vision. News highlights: a foreign female netizen traveled to Tokyo alone, and when she checked into the APA hotel, she was shocked to see an Asian man hiding under the bed, and the man fled after the two screamed. Police arrived at the scene but could not find the suspect, and there were no cameras at the hotel. Although a full refund was received, the moral compensation was denied, and the female netizen made her experience public and called on travelers to be vigilant. News highlights: Hong Kong actor Zhang Haihang's image was severely frustrated due to the leg-splitting incident, and he and his wife Wen had 4 sons after marriage, but the family has been financially constrained for a long time. Recently, Wen revealed that her life seemed to be counting down due to heart problems, worried that no one would take care of her children, and she made a strong commitment to live hard and repay her debts. Zhang Haihang tried various jobs to support his family and applied for public housing, hoping that the outside world would stop malicious criticism. News highlights: a netizen shared that her mother used ChatGPT to read palmistry, and she felt that the description of the past and present was quite accurate. When asked about parental relationship, the AI replied, "The relationship with your parents is shallow, but they will protect you from afar," which moved the mother to tears. Recently, many people have used AI to communicate with pets, and they were moved to cry by gentle replies, but some people think that AI is just making up stories based on words. News highlights: at the 43rd Hong Kong Film Awards award ceremony, Karina Lau laughed at herself as the guest of honor for the Best Actor award again this year. She humorously commented on the appearance of many male stars, praised Su Guanwen, Lu Qingyun, and Aaron Kwok for their eternal youth, and laughed that Aaron Kwok affected his acting skills because he was too handsome. She also humorously pointed out her husband Tony Leung's handsomeness and criticized him for not caring about his appearance. Regarding the study tour, Karina Lau bluntly said that he has become haggard in recent years, and persuaded him to find his direction again. News highlights: Qingchen Liang, a woman from Sichuan in mainland China, was wanted by the police on suspicion of peeling hotel fraud, and after the wanted photo was exposed, she became popular because of her bright appearance and was named the most wanted criminal. She was sentenced to 1 year and 2 months in prison after turning herself in, and after being released from prison, she began to work as a live broadcaster, attracting a large number of fans under the banner of anti-fraud. However, after more than a month of operation, the account was banned for violating the platform's rules and had its profit privileges revoked. News highlights: Ren Xiankai has been debuting for 34 years, and he is also a film and television singer and an investment expert, worth more than NT $2.23 billion. Recently, it was rumored that he bought an entire street of real estate in Qingdao and became a real estate tycoon. Zhang Xiaohan, Zhang Shi, and Su Yupeng are also actively investing in real estate in Chinese mainland. Zhang Xiaohan owns real estate in Taiwan, mainland China, and Canada, and once bought a luxury house in Shanghai for NT $150 million. Zhang Shi bought 7 properties with his salary, and Su Yupeng invested in as many as 10 properties in Shanghai. News highlights: 31-year-old Hong Kong actress Li Xian once hosted Like a God Comes Out of Attention and Raise Your Hands 3, and has retired to run the company behind the scenes in recent years. In a recent interview, he revealed that he had received an email from a wealthy couple, offering to buy her eggs and pay 200,000 Hong Kong dollars, about 840,000 Taiwan dollars. Li Xian said that she felt that such a proposal was a bit insulting, thinking that her eggs were more than this price. Nevertheless, she humorously responded that if the price is raised to $1 million, it can be considered. News highlights: the goddess of local drama Chen Paiki recently posted a sad post, revealing that the adopted furry child Bao Bao passed away on the 14th, and a farewell ceremony was held on the 27th. She made glass and wool felt especially for her baby, hoping to sleep with her dogs in the future. At the farewell ceremony, Chan Puiki hugged baby several times, tearfully thanked her for her company, and prayed that baby could move forward on a better journey, and looked forward to reuniting with her again in the future. Netizens have left messages of comfort and wished the baby rest in peace. News highlights: CAIAGA's 90-year-old grandmother passed away a few days ago, and CAIAGA's cousin posted on the social platform Threads, suspected of criticizing CAIAGA's failure to return to Chi for the funeral, and strongly condemned him for not returning home immediately. The article attracted the attention of netizens, and it was speculated that the two might fall out due to a dispute over property. CAIAGA's father-in-law also mentioned in the message that AGA has given up, making the outside world speculate that CAIAGA may have given up the inheritance. However, CAIAGA himself did not respond to her cousin's post, but instead mourned her grandmother on Facebook, expressed her gratitude and recalled the warm memories of the past. News highlights after the large rally held by the Kuomintang and the People's Party on April 26. 2 days later, a large number of nursing sisters suddenly appeared on the social media platform Threads, which attracted the attention of netizens and DPP spokesman Zhou Guanting. These posts appear with similar sentences and selfies of the main sister, which makes people question whether they are made by the internet army. Netizens speculated that it might be a stealing picture, and humorously said that he only went to work on 2 days off a week, which sparked a discussion about the activities of the internet army. News highlights meteorological expert Lin said that the tropical disturbance 99W located off the eastern coast of the Philippines could develop into Typhoon Butterfly, the #1 typhoon this year. According to the latest simulations, 99W may intensify into a tropical depression around May 1, moving away from Taiwan and approaching the waters south of Japan. Although the impact on Taiwan is not expected to be significant at this time, it is still necessary to continue to observe due to the uncertainty of the path forecast. News highlights Jianing of the YouTube channel Crowd broke with his old love Andy, and the family was interviewed and released on bail on suspicion of tax evasion. Although Andy's popularity soared and he became the fastest YouTuber in Taiwan to break through 2 million subscribers, Jianing's career is facing a crisis, and all endorsements are cut off, and he may even be sued. In this predicament, Jianing posted a chicken soup for the soul video through the community to express his attitude towards acceptance and transformation of challenges, and it seems that he will not be defeated. News highlights Japanese actress Mai Sato recently returned to Taiwan and shared the joy of returning to Taiwan on social platforms, especially tasting Taiwanese delicacies such as bubble tea. She said, "I'm so happy to be back in Taiwan," and shared her delicious photos such as bubble tea and radish cake, allowing fans to praise her for maintaining a good figure and smooth skin even though she is 45 years old. Mai will divorce Wang Yongqing's eldest grandson, Wang Quanren, in 2023, and she looks more beautiful and ruddy after the resumption. News highlights 60-year-old Zhang Nan is suspected of fraudulently obtaining insurance claims, poisoning his wife and girlfriend, and being involved in a serial homicide case. In 2021, his 57-year-old wife, Chen Nu, suddenly developed epilepsy symptoms after hemorrhoid surgery at Far Eastern Memorial Hospital and eventually died. A forensic examination revealed that her bile contained bucaine, an anesthetic, not prescribed by the hospital. After investigation, it was found that Zhang Nan frequently went in and out of the recovery room after the operation, and carried unknown items, which made the police suspect that he had poisoned his wife to death. News highlights the recall group Libaludan said on April 25 that 3 female volunteers were intimidated by men in black at the Zhongli Dusk Market, threatening to see them once and beat them once and asking them to disappear in the designated area. After receiving the report, the police found that the suspect was a 33-year-old Song man, who was dissatisfied with the volunteers setting up a stall in front of a friend's store, which affected the business. Although the parties had no intention of filing a complaint at the time, the police later handled the case on suspicion of intimidation under the instructions of the prosecutor. News highlights after the death of CAIAGA's 90-year-old grandmother, Gama, there was a dispute in the family over the handling of the funeral. The cousin posted on social platforms, suspected of criticizing CAIAGA for failing to go south in time to deal with housework, and used language such as strong condemnation, which caused netizens to support CAIAGA and expose family grievances. Later, the CAI family posted a response, saying that the family misunderstanding had been resolved, and thanked the family for their support when they grew up, emphasizing that housework should be solved by the family, and thanking everyone for their concern. News highlights Westward Whiskey's parent company, House Spirits Distillery, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in early April 2024 in an effort to deal with financial stress and restructure. Affected by the pandemic, inventory overhang, and inflation, the company decided to adjust its strategy to focus on a direct-to-consumer sales model. Founder Mooney emphasized that bankruptcy is not the end, but provides an opportunity for the brand to transform in the future, and plans to retain employees and promote brand growth. News highlights a car accident occurred on the northbound ramp of Xindian Angkung Interchange in New Taipei City this morning, 28th, and 2 cars collided. The front of the burgundy sedan was severely twisted, and the man surnamed Huang was trapped, unconscious and had a broken thigh, and was sent to Taipei Zuchi Hospital. Another black car, driven by a man surnamed Yu, suffered multiple abrasions and contusions on his body and was sent to Zhengzhou Hospital for treatment. The preliminary investigation showed that Yu deviated from the lane due to the slippery road in the rain, and the 2 cars collided, and the exact cause is still to be investigated. News highlights: the Central Crime Fighting Center of the Criminal Bureau received a report that 4 men were defrauded and violently controlled by the head of the Bamboo Union gang Rentang Peng when trading virtual currency, and were forcibly intercourse and threatened with sexual images. The group snatched about 500,000 yuan in virtual currency and cash. After investigation, Peng was arrested by the police on March 6 and arrested along with 14 other members. The police seized illegal gains, drugs, and other stolen evidence, and Peng and 7 others have been detained. Investigation is ongoing. News highlights: a fatal case occurred in Kaohsiung City this morning, 28th, and the public found a man lying in a pool of blood in the backyard of the temple, and called the police for help. Ambulance crews arrived at the scene and confirmed that the man was dead, and preliminary analysis was that he was suspected to have fallen from a nearby building. The police have cordoned off the scene and are investigating, and the forensic team has also arrived to collect evidence. The details of the case and the cause of death are still to be clarified, and the police appeal to the public not to be onlookers and assist in the smooth progress of the investigation. News highlights: Taiwan stocks benefited from the strong performance of the electronic group on the 28th, and the market held the 20,000 point mark after opening higher, and the silicon photonic groups such as Licky, Shangchuan, and Wenmao Relay rose by the limit, and Quanta and Huaxing Guang also rose more than 4%. TSMC recently emphasized the development of silicon photonics technology, especially in the field of optical communications, which drove related stock prices up. Licky focuses on AI technology and joins the Silicon Photonics Alliance. Shangchuan is optimistic about the development of high-end data centers. WIN benefited from NVIDIA's CPO cooperation. News highlights: Yonghong Biotech, 6936, was officially listed on April 28, becoming the first professional animal pharmaceutical company to be listed in Taiwan, and its opening stock price rose by more than 30%. The company is expected to have a revenue of 1.294 billion yuan in 2024, and focuses on the R&D and sales of animal drugs and feed additives, with more than 300 licenses. Yonghong Biotech is also actively expanding the global market, especially in Southeast Asia and the pet market, and signed a memorandum of cooperation with Baotai Biomedicine to develop drugs for the treatment of pet cancer and heart diseases, and strive for the global pet market share. News highlights: in a recent interview, Trump mentioned dialogue with China and hinted that U.S.-China trade talks are underway. However, Foreign Ministry spokesman Guo Jiaqin strongly denied this claim, and said that China and the United States have not held consultations or negotiations on the tariff issue, and reiterated China's position is to fight and accompany to the end. The door is open. Trump's remarks are seen as a negotiation tactic used by the United States to show the outside world that the United States is willing to engage in dialogue, but the Chinese side does not agree with this. News highlights: the recent sell-off in the U.S. market has had an impact on the demand for U.S. long-day treasuries, and investors are beginning to question the role of treasuries as a safe haven asset. As uncertainty grows in the Trump administration, including trade wars, tax cuts, and fiscal deficit issues, markets are becoming more sensitive to risk, demanding higher premiums to compensate for the risk of long-term treasury bonds. While U.S. treasuries remain better than European treasuries, and recent auction results show that there is still demand for treasuries at the right price, investor confidence remains fragile. In the future, the increase in fiscal deficits and government bond issuance may further widen maturity premiums. News highlights: according to a poll conducted by Formosa Island Electronic News, liking satisfaction with the administration showed a death cross for the first time, with dissatisfaction, 47.3%, slightly higher than satisfaction, 47.1%. Last trust also fell by 8.1%, while distrust rose by 6%. The premier, Chuk Wing-tai, was slightly more satisfied with governance than dissatisfied, 42.6%. As a result, the Blue Camp raised the issue of recalling Lai Ching-te and toppling the government, indicating that the public's evaluation of the government has declined. News highlights: the Kuomintang launched the Kaidao Assembly dictatorship in 426, and Lai King counterattacked the Blue and White Camp and should protest at Tiananmen Square. Kuomintang chairman Zhu Lailun announced the 520 recall of Lai King, and instructed the whole party to fully assist in the second phase of the signature, including this in the assessment, so that voters can witness the recall process. He criticized Lai Ching-te for ignoring the needs of the Taiwanese people, and pointed out that he only focused on fighting the opposition parties and had no intention of uniting Taiwan. News highlights: a Thai netizen who used to work as an X-ray assistant at the clinic shared that he once saw an X-ray film of a woman covered with parasites, which frightened the medical staff at the scene. The woman was suspected to have contracted the parasite through the consumption of raw food, and the expert reminded that eating raw food is risky and that well-cooked meat should be consumed to prevent infection. Parasites can rob nutrients and can cause problems such as abdominal pain, indigestion, weight loss, and more, and experts warn to pay attention to health. News highlights: Japan has recently exposed the phenomenon of prolific DV, which refers to women experiencing sexual violence and physical and mental control when they have repeated pregnancies and childbirth under involuntary circumstances. Corey, a 40-year-old wife, revealed that she had 6 pregnancies in 11 years, and her husband did not cooperate with contraception, and used violence to force her to have sex, even asking for sex after her surgery. Eventually, she chose to divorce and raise her children on her own. The expert called for greater education and awareness of the issue and support for victims to seek help. News highlights: the Dragon Boat Festival holiday is approaching, and Taiwan's high-speed rail will add 127 flights from May 28, Wednesday, to June 2, Monday, including 58 southbound and 69 northbound flights. Passengers can purchase tickets online, at convenience stores, on apps, and at stations from the early hours of April 30. Taiwan Railway will open 109 additional flights from May 29, Thursday, to June 2, Monday, and ticket booking will be open from the early morning of April 28. The XRL has also postponed the number of trains receiving trains and expanded the capacity of non-reserved seats, and maintained a number of preferential measures. News highlights: in response to the international situation and the impact of U.S. tariffs, the Executive Yuan proposed a special budget of 410 billion yuan, and emphasized that the 100 billion yuan injected into Taiwan Power can stabilize electricity prices. President Zhou Rongde went to the Legislative Yuan today to explain that although the Blue and White Caucus questioned this, especially worried that Taipower's appropriation would become a bottomless pit, Fu Kunking expressed his willingness to support and assist in reviewing non-urgent matters. The People's Party, for its part, supported part of the industrial budget and expressed its approval of the report. Zhou Rongde hopes that the government and the opposition will have a rational dialogue and pass the budget as soon as possible. News highlights: Kaohsiung's Okayama Air Base has recently been stationed with the Yanjing high-level training aircraft, and the noise problem in the vicinity has intensified, and local residents have reported that the sound is louder than the old A3 training aircraft, which has exceeded the 60 decibel standard, and the affected area covers 13 miles around Okayama and Ziguan and Mita districts. The military has pledged to speed up compensation operations and outsource them to reduce the distress to the population. With all 33 Eagle aircraft expected to be stationed next year, the noise problem is likely to worsen, and the military will continue to work to reduce the impact. News highlights: Jian Yuanling was injured after the 8 Immortals dust explosion and experienced a physical and mental reconstruction. She is reluctant to be the protagonist of an inspirational story, emphasizing that everyone should allow themselves to hurt and give themselves time to heal. As a psychologist, she reminds people to respect their feelings, maintain agency, and understand that vulnerability is also a strength. Her story is about how to face loss and rebuild, and find inner strength in the midst of adversity. News highlights: YouTuber Leela has been actively controlling her body shape in the past year and a half, reducing her body weight from 63 kilograms to 51 kilograms, and her body fat percentage has also dropped to 18%. She participated in the Asian Natural Bodybuilding Open for the first time and finished 6th and 5th. For the competition, she showed off her tight muscle curves and shapely body, and enjoyed the unrestricted milk tea and alcohol after the competition. Leela said that during this weight loss process, with the help of a dietitian and the formation of exercise habits, she successfully overcame inertia and achieved ideal results. News highlights: South Korean actress Lee Ju-yeon recently posted a selfie with a cat on Instagram, which sparked heated discussions among netizens. The background in the photo is similar to the furnishings in the G-Dragon home, and the cat in the photo also matches the cat in the GD home, and even wears the same pink color. This made netizens speculate whether the two would get back together. Lee Ju-yeon and GD were revealed to be dating in 2018, although there was no positive response, but 7 years later, this photo has once again attracted attention and continued to discuss. News highlights: Hollywood actress Kristen Stewart and female screenwriter Dylan Meyer announced their engagement in 2021 and held a wedding at their home in Los Angeles on May 20 this year, officially becoming husband and wife. Weddings are small and only a few family and friends are invited. Dylan Meyer shared wedding photos on social media, with the two wearing beige dresses, sweetly hugging and kissing, showing happy smiles. Kristen and Dylan have been dating since 2019 and have publicly discussed marriage and family plans many times. News highlights: in the special prize of 10 million yuan in the Unified Invoice in November and December of the Republic of China 113, a lucky winner of the Northern Restaurant in Gishan, Dawan, won the prize with a consumption of 210 yuan. However, the winner has not yet shown up to receive the prize, and the deadline for claiming the prize will end on May 5, and missed will be confiscated. According to the Ministry of Finance, there are 18 winners in this period, of which 17 have already received their awards, and only one has not yet completed the award collection process. News highlights: otolaryngologist Lee Dianxian recently shared the case of a 38-year-old female patient who had persistent fever, severe cough, green phlegm, and blood streaks, shortness of breath and low blood oxygen due to mycoplasma infection. Fungal infections are usually mild, but about 10% can cause severe pneumonia. Dr. Lee reminds adults that they are also at risk of infection and urges frequent hand washing and wearing masks to prevent droplet infection. News highlights: in a horrific murder case in Pattaya, Thailand, Chinese tourist Fu Tongyuan killed and destroyed the body of a 25-year-old transgender woman, Volanan, in a sex trafficking dispute. After Fu Tongyuan met with the victim on April 25, he clashed over an argument and refused to refund the fee, and finally strangled Volanan to death and performed an autopsy. After the case, Fu Tongyuan prepared to flee back to the mainland, but was arrested at Suvarnabhumi airport. He has confessed to the crime, and the police are investigating the details of the case, including the missing organs. News highlights the case is still pending, but the distributor of the e-commerce brand HBD used the case for marketing, which has been met with public outrage. Former AV director Yuan Ziyu revealed on social platforms that HBD's distributors posted a message of solidarity and branding at the opening of the case, using the case as a publicity tool, causing dissatisfaction. Mr. Com criticized the behavior as extremely disgusting and stressed that such a sensitive case should not be used for commercial purposes, especially after his recent exposure to children's filming.